Hello! There we go, second time lucky. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Welcome back. We are here, and I think it's working. It's not working 100% as well as I would like it to, but it is working. We're here. A little bit later than usual, but who cares? We're here, it's fine. I'm just going to quickly promote this in the Discord server, but in the meantime, feel free to say hello, and I'll drop a little mention shortly. Thank you for joining, everyone. Thunder King 24 and Monkey at an office desk so far. I can relate with that. Yeah. Yes. And let's have a gander. Let's put it in Discord. Notifications. Welcome everyone, welcome to the stream. I'm just sharing it over in the Discord chat. Discussing the Giggle. Yes, welcome to, obviously, everyone who's started already. Midnight Moon, Wolf, Adam Hassel, Hooligans, great name as always. Open the Watch, Tom Blythe, Double Team Matt, welcome to the stream, everyone. Hope you're having a lovely evening so far. And I'm hoping I can make it that little bit more better, George. You studied English for how many years in your GCSE days, and clearly it is disappearing away from you. As an aspiring writer, that is shocking. Welcome everyone to the stream. Hope you're all having a lovely time so far. This is going to be an interesting one. This is going to be a bit of a ram-packed episode of the Who Bulletin today. If you're new here and don't know what the Who Bulletin is, it's a Doctor Who show, of course it is, here on this channel where we talk about the latest Doctor Who news, reviews, etc. And there's a lot to cover today, because we're going to be talking about the final part of the 60th anniversary specials, The Giggle, which came out on Saturday. If you haven't seen my ridiculously length 40-minute review on the channel already, feel free to go and check that out. So we're going to be talking about that today. We're going to be talking about your guys' opinions on it. I'm going to be discussing it with you guys, seeing what you guys think. And then also, we're going to be talking about the Goblin song, because that's quite exciting, that's quite fun and different and weird, and something I look very much forward to. And some of you may be relatively happy to know that we're going back to an old Who Bulletin tradition. I know the show's not been running for that many months, but this has become an old tradition at this point. I haven't had the time to eat before the stream, so we're breaking out the pot pies. Not just any pot pies, ladies and gentlemen, but Co-op's own British pork, mini pork, and cranberry pies for Christmas. Because we know that cranberry makes Christmas go round. And it's beautiful. It's the best thing I've ever eaten. I'll put some light music on in the background. Oh, this is mental. I forget how awkward it is me just eating a pot pie in silence. Let's get some music going in the background. Rate Christmas dinner sandwiches. Christmas dinner sandwiches are... I don't know, I don't like them. Like, this pork pie has already bioregenerated. Okay, it's already... Cool, here we are. Music in the background, as always, is by the wonderful Peter Miles. Link is in the description below. Or at least it should be. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Hope you're having a lovely time. Let's talk about The Giggle. That's going now. That's been out since Saturday. What do we all think about it? A lot of controversy going in, a lot of people talking about the leak, which is really unfortunate. I let my thoughts upon the leak be very clear over on Twitter this week. But we're here. It's happened. It's out. It's done. What do we all think about the episode? And what do we want to talk about? And what do we want to ask? I'll get us a stroll and we can eat processed meat and pastry together. Well, thank you very much for that lovely luxury. I very much appreciate it. Pot pie. Double Team Matt says the Disney trailer is so good. I agree. It's excellent. It's one of the best trailers we've had in a long time. It's a proper high budget trailer, proper editing, great shots chosen. A good balance of the fun but also the mystery and intrigue. We don't see much of the goblins, but we do see more of the church shots and shooting and time and space and do things, right? The Master is just like the Doctor. The only thing the Master can one up on the Doctor is an evil plan or mental capacity, whereas the Toymaker is a being outside of our own plane of existence who can disappear and reappear, you know, and it's almost like magic, and I think that's what really sells that scene, especially the Spice Girls scene, which is probably one of my favourite scenes in Doctor Who in years. Yeah, excellent. Really, really satisfied with that. But yeah, no, I loved it. I thought Neil Patrick Harris is brilliant. As I said in my review, really, really good part to play. Wasn't what I was expecting. What were you expecting, Philip? In terms of the whole thing. It was alright, the bioregeneration is a one-off, but every other Doctor seems a bit too much. Again, as I kind of talked about in my review, I feel like it's one of those things where I don't see that as canon yet. I think if it happens in the show and we actually see it, then fair enough, but we haven't seen it. We don't know what the canon is in that yet, you know? Partially I like it in the sense where the best thing Russell did in terms of explaining it for me was, well, like, a Shielder and Clara are, like, away somewhere in a TARDIS. Technically, they could show up again. They could be but then they don't, you know what I mean? You know, it's like they just because they're out there doesn't mean that they're going to appear and it's going to be, like, a big plot point. It's just something that can be moved on from. It's a nice plot point for this version of the Doctor. And the thing that irks me as well is that it sort of still feels like Tennant is going to turn into Shooty, because he says, like, oh, I'm okay because you've done, like, the healing process side of things. That's okay, you've done that, I don't need to. So I thought that was interesting, and I thought that's something that kind of implied that Shooty still comes after Tennant, even though it's technically a split. But then also you got the stuff like the Curator, and for me I'm like, the Curator could be a future version of the Doctor, but I don't actually mind the Curator being like a sort of bioregeneration off-spin of the Fourth Doctor who didn't die at Logopolis and instead carried on. And I think that's kind of interesting. As like a concept, maybe not something that's like set in stone, but as a concept, you know, and it's great to see old versions of the Doctors again. And there are ways and means of doing that have always worked, that didn't need to have a split regeneration. So I don't think it should happen for all Doctors, but I'm open to it so long as it doesn't overbear the rest of the show. We're continuing forward now with Shooty. I don't want to see Tennant again, honestly, until maybe the 70th, but even then I'm like, okay, I'm content with not seeing David Tennant for a bit longer. Love him, I absolutely love these specials and I love how he is in them, but I'm sort of like, okay, it's Matt Smith's turn for the 70th, I think, for me. And also depends where the show's at that point in time. It worked really well to bring Tennant back here to sort of introduce a new era, and I really like that. But yeah. I still don't understand the dislikes about Toymaker's demise was rushed. I thought it was well paced. I think the thing with the Toymaker you have to remember is that the Toymaker can't be taken down in a sort of traditional Doctor Who way where something's blown up or reverse time. The Toymaker is a concept that is defeated by playing the game because they live by those rules, and I think that's so interesting that something as simple as catch. It's like, if we win, we get to decide your fate, and you have to obey that because that's the only rule you live by. And I think that's interesting because you can do different stuff with that. So yeah, I've been playing catch. The thing with the catch scene that I think would have been cooler, maybe, and I'm not, again, as I say, I'm not like an established TV writer, so there's obviously reasons and stuff, but I think because there's two of them, gave them an advantage. What if Tennant's Doctor actually did drop the ball at one point, and then it was just between Shooty and the Toymaker, and then you're really focusing on the new Doctor, and then Shooty gets to do something cool and defeat the Toymaker just himself, with also the help maybe of the other Doctor. I like the whole thing, but I think just raising the stakes a little bit. If Tennant got knocked out, then it's like, right, okay, you've lost all your lives now. If Shooty drops the ball, you're done for, you know. Otherwise, what would be the difference of having the two Doctors, I guess? Would like if Shooty's Doctor regenerates forwards and Tennant's degenerates. That's kind of cool. I don't mind that as a concept, where like they get older and then degenerate. I don't know if that would work perfectly, but I can kind of understand how that could work potentially. Your opinion on the One Who Waits? I think the One Who Waits is going to hopefully be a new character. I hope it to be a new character. I don't want to keep recurring old villains and stuff that we have to have years of knowledge and history to know. I'd like to see new villains, and that's something that Classic Who was always very good at, is introducing new villains. And it seems that in New Who we rely a lot on big villains to sort of tell the story of a finale for an episode. I don't know if we've had a finale yet, other than technically Series 11, that hasn't had a returning, like a big returning villain, either the Master or the Cybermen or the Daleks, usually. But then we've also had, other stuff as well, I suppose. But even Series 11, I would include Resolution as the finale, really, because that brings everything together in terms of like the plot points and stuff. So that actually makes sense thematically for Resolution to be the finale. In which case, that's a Dalek story, so that doesn't count as well. And then every other series you've got is just returning monsters. So I would love a big bad to be introduced who is new. But if it isn't, then obviously I'd want it to be something like Omega. Or some sort of other celestial being, like a sort of high and mighty kind of space god kind of thing, a bit like the Toymaker, but on a different level. Who would the Toymaker not play? It's an interesting fact. And I think Omega is one of those ones that's been talked about for years and has never happened, and I feel like has to at some point come back, I feel. But I don't know how they'd do it. And if it would be satisfying for long-time viewers, because Omega has been not like a bad villain or like a bit of a joke, but they're not taking the most seriously, overall. So I kind of feel like it's one of those ones where I'd love to see. Yeah, I don't know. Some parts near the end of the episode were confusing on first watch. I agree, it was very confusing on first watch, but I rewatched it the next day and I was like, this is so much better. Yeah, this is great. I love the new unit setup in the episode. A lot of new unit setup in the episode. I quite liked it. It says Lolly. I agree. Yeah, love that. Out in the open, as a unit should be. I like that. Unit should be a prevalent part of Earth's story. It wouldn't make any sense for them not to be a unit kind of organisation at this point with the amount of Earth attacks that have happened. So, yeah, for them getting more financial support, having a big tower in the middle of London, having all this like ability and access is great. Do you think we'll see Toymaker again in the Shooties era? I don't think we will. I think Neil Patrick Harris is a very big actor, and I think it's someone who is going to be hard to get back, especially given how demanding the role was. And I think you did the Toymaker in the 60s, you've done the Toymaker in 2023. I think we can wait. I think it's one of those villains that shouldn't just keep being brought back just because it was popular. I think we need to leave it. Same with the Daleks, same with the Cybermen, same with the Master. One of the big reliefs for me is that Russell confirming that there's no current plans for the Master to come back. He could just be saying that, of course. But I love that, again, you've got the reference of the Master being in the tooth, and you've got all that, but you don't have to bring him back immediately, and I think that's super important, and something that needs to be taken note of. Again, I'm not a big fan of having the same thing every year. I love the Daleks and Cybermen as much as the last guy, but it's still not very original to have a finale. Like, I really hope Shooty's first series finale isn't just another Dalek or Cyberman or Master story. I genuinely hope it's something unique. But also big and bombastic and exciting. It doesn't have to be, just because it's not a returning villain doesn't mean it has to be boring. We don't have to have another battle of fucking Ranskor Kolos. It doesn't have to be that level. CGI was unsettling in this episode. It was brilliant, I agree. Fantastic. So good. Glad I didn't know about the leak. Looked it up after I saw the episode. It would have totally ruined it. I agree, and I had a rant about this on Twitter. Doctor Who fans, and as a community, need to do better with leaks. The people on set who are leaking this information, actual dialogue and plot points from the episode, like, fuck you. Like, why would anyone want to go out of their way to do that? You're just going to ruin it for the experience. That's not what the production wants. It's not what the fans want. It's not what anyone wants. It's a completely selfish thing to get a few clicks on an anonymous account that you're not even going to be able to attribute to yourself anyway, because you'd be fucking locked up if you were. Because it's, you know, you're leaking precious information there which is copyrighted. So it's an illegal thing to do anyway, so you can't even put your own name on it. I think it's such a shame that people want to go out of their way for anonymous likes and retweets and all that sort of thing, or just to fuck things up. No fan wants to know that going in. And it ruined it. I said it, and again, I'm not naming and shaming. I don't want to diss any other content creators. I've always been about that. But I love watching reaction content on YouTube. I love watching reactions. And when a big episode like the Giggle happens, I want to see reactions to that. Blind Wave, one of my favourites. But there are other ones I also watch, usually whilst waiting for Blind Wave to upload. And I will watch, and there was one I watched the other day where I watched it, and they watched the Giggle, and they were loving it, and it was a great time, and I was really enjoying the reaction. And then they got to the regeneration bit, and they were like, oh god, it's like, oh, it's just the leak, oh, the leak's coming true, oh, shit, oh. And then they were like miserable for the rest of the reaction, and I'm like, why the fuck do you care? Like, watch the episode, my guy, like, watch the episode and react to the episode. That's what the content is, man, like, watch the episode and react to that. Why are you reacting to something you've already made a decision on? Like, you read this leak, what, months ago? You made a decision about how you felt about it, and then now we're watching a video of you, like, pretending to just kind of going, oh, well, because you've already decided what your reaction's going to be. You're not even giving it a chance. As soon as Tennant stopped actively regenerating, you decided, oh, the leak's real, right, I'm pissed off now. And that just fucking, it's not just annoying as to watch as a video, but it's like, it's really, it's just sad. It's just really sad because these things are leaked and these things are put out there, and it's like, they ruin it for people like that, for people who, you know, like myself. I didn't want to know that going in. I was watching the episode and I was sat there going, oh, this is going to be controversial. I think I even said that out loud with the people I was watching it with. They didn't really know, they don't know about the leaks and all that sort of thing. I didn't want to ruin it for them, but for me, I was like, I already know what's coming because it's been leaked and this is already, yeah. And it just winds me up because people talk about it and people put it out there. And, like, they share it around, and even, you know, it's not just the people who are on set leaking it, which is my original point, it's the fucking community. We need to do better as a community and stop sharing shit. And I said this on Twitter as well, like, I am fully aware of the irony of me growing my following of talking about Doctor Who news and set filming and leaks, right? There was a reason I stopped doing that. One, because I got just a bit bored of it, a bit sick of it. But two, mainly, like, I don't want to ruin it for myself, and I don't want to ruin it for people who are watching my videos. I don't want to be the person who is giving people all this information so that when they watch the episode of Doctor Who, they're like, oh my god, that just reminds me of the George Sheard video I watched 2 months ago. No. You want to watch something that's, like, entertaining, and you want to get something out of TV. They're putting money and time and effort into writing, producing, directing, acting, all of this wonderful stuff for us to watch, for us to sit down and go, oh yeah, that YouTuber told me about this, oh yeah, that reminds me of it, and I'm like, god, that's shit. And that's what pulled me out of it, and that's fine if you like that sort of stuff. And when it comes to, like, filming outside, when they're, like, filming in public, fair enough, you know, they're filming in fucking public, like, of course that's gonna get out there. That's not a leak as far as I'm concerned, that's just filming location stuff. That's gonna end up out there because people are gonna take photos of it. But when it's stuff like this, where it's like the bi-regeneration thing, which leaked over 1.5 years ago, that's mental. As well as actual dialogue about Shooty duplicating the TARDISes. It's just, where's the fun in that? That just ruins everything for everyone. There's no positive outcome to that, I don't think. And yeah, when it comes to reaction videos, it's fucking annoying because they've already made a decision on whether they like it or not, or based off reading a Reddit post, opposed to actually seeing how it plays out. There's my rant over. I got very passionate about that. Oh, leaks just pissed me off, man. Yeah, I've lost track of where I was in the chat. So if you've messaged something, then feel free to put it in again. I'm just going to go from where I can see. The first 2 acts were absolutely fantastic. Third act let it down a bit. It was a bit rushed. I would have loved this to be 90 minutes, really. Gemma Redgrave's acting when the Z actually deactivated was perfect. I agree. Fantastic stuff. I love Gemma Redgrave. She's great. Toymaker could always change his face while not clamoring to have come back again for a while. Yeah, you're completely right. It's just a random face for whatever the entity decides to choose that day. So it could be anyone, anything. But I just don't want the Toymaker to return. I don't think he needs to. I think he's a character which has a really cool aesthetic and gimmick, but it will get old very quickly if you milk it to death. How many times can we have a Doctor Who episode where they're like, yes, Doctor, you may have beat me in the first 20 games, but this is where I'm going to get you. We're going to play Blind Man's Buff. It doesn't really work like that. You can't keep going and it stays entertaining. Like, there's only so many games you can do before they're whipping out Scrabble or Monopoly and it's just them sat there pissing about for 2 hours. I just think that we need... Toymaker's excellent. It worked really well in the episode, but I don't really want to see him again going forward. Like, I think it's a great villain, which works being used sparingly. I love the Masters of Cycle between Gomez, Sin, Jacobi and Doan. Show how timey-wimey time travel can be bumping into different versions of people. Yeah, I'd love to see that. Yeah, the monk should return. Great one. They should be fired for leaking genuine dialogue. They probably would be fired if they knew who it was, and they probably have been fired if they found out who it was. That's just like fact of the matter. If something gets out and it's purposeful, you're breaking an NDA. You've signed a contract. You could be sued for that. So it's very fucking stupid of them, I would say. Just watch that Blind Wave react. Yes, it's a great video. I love Blind Wave. One of my favourite reaction channels. Literal truth. Lol, I watched the same reaction and had the same reaction myself. Yeah, again, I'm not going to name and shame because it's not my place to sort of call out content creators for doing their thing and reacting how they want, especially when it's reaction videos. It's not my place to say. But I know what I look for and I know what annoys me. I know what makes me happy. Whatever. When I'm watching, I get a kick out of it. It annoyed me so much watching a reaction video who'd already made up their mind about a plot point because it had leaked beforehand, and when it happened, they were like, "Oh," it's like, what? Just fucking react to what you're seeing and judge the actual show, not the thing you read on Reddit. You know, to me that's obvious, but some people that just seems to be like a foreign concept to wait and see. I've been saying this for weeks. Like the leak, I said even then, the leak probably is real, but just wait and see what happens. And most people who were worried about it watched it and were like, yeah, it works, it's fine. Not sure about some stuff, it's a bit confusing, but it works, it's fine. And then we're going to move on anyway and go into Shooty Zero and not think about it anymore, so it's fine. I do think the Biogen was done better than the leak put it out. Yeah, I completely agree, and that's the point I'm making, is that you read something in a Reddit post, right? You read, oh, they split into, yeah, and you imagine what that's going to look like in your head. But it's not going to match what actually happens on screen. It's not going to match the dialogue, the explanations, the context, and the visuals and the music and the feeling that you get emotionally when watching a TV show. You're never going to get that from a Reddit post in terms of what's in your head, unless you're literally Russell T Davies. So yeah, of course it's better. This is why I said, whenever something leaks, even if it is genuine and sounds scary, wait till it happens on screen and see how it is then. Might not be exactly how you expect. I don't know. I quite like it. I was open to the concept anyway. I was a little bit like, I'm not sure, but when I rewatched it, I was like, yeah, this works. Yeah, I know I'm filming pitch as long as there's no big spoilers. Yeah, I mean, if they take the Daleks out in public, we're all going to see it, and that is a big spoiler, but it's fine. They're usually careful with the big things. That's good. I only looked at the leaks after I saw everyone being so mad about them, and it made me nervous for the episode. You see, you'd rather go in excited than anything else. Genuinely hope they found who leaked it and got the sack. Been blacklisted or something. They probably will have been if they found out who it was, yeah. George, breathe. I know. I just... This one thing really just irks me. It's been irking me for weeks anyway. People on Twitter constantly, whenever something gets announced, they're like, oh my god, the leak's real. But I'm like, just... Come on, man. Who gives a shit? Just wait till it happens. I hated knowing how it's going to happen in the end. I'm thinking how amazing the end of Wild Blue Yonder would have been if I didn't see those pics of Bernard Cribbins. That is so true as well, actually. Not knowing... The thing is, some stuff gets out anyway, and I think that's the balance of it. Is that's so true. I would love to have not known about Bernard Cribbins being in it, but yeah, I don't know. It's a difficult one, isn't it? That's a really good point. See, I'm open for filming pics because it's like in public. I was there. I saw them filming that in Camden. Like I was actually there, and I saw them filming it, and I remember seeing bits at the time and being like, I wonder what bit this is going to be. But yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Good point. Good point. But that's a very that's a certain situation which can't be kind of replicated. You know what I mean? Because he died, and people wouldn't have expected him. So that's like not. There's a lot of elements to that. There's a lot of moving parts to that, which affects that whole thing. But it's great when you watch reactions who don't know about that. Blind Wave, it's why Blind Wave is one of my favourite reaction channels, because they stay out of it. They didn't even know Shujigawa was going to appear at all. They didn't know who the next Doctor was. You know? They didn't know Bernard Cribbins was in it. They didn't know anything about the episode at all. And they watch it, and then they see Shujigawa, and they're like, oh my god, who is this? And they've not seen anything of him because they stay off social media, and I think that's brilliant. It's a great idea because the content is so much more entertaining. You know, you're watching stuff and you're like, oh my god, they actually don't know anything about this. Like Power of the Doctor, when David Tennant showed up at the end, they absolutely lost their shit. I didn't have that reaction because I saw them bloody filming it, and I've been on Twitter for years and seen all the promo stuff. Whereas they watch it completely blind, and it's great. So that's why they called them Blind Wave, I suppose. If you could get one companion back for the special, who would it be? What, for the upcoming special? Or just generally? I don't think I'd bring anyone back for the upcoming special. I think he needs to breathe on his own. But for like an anniversary special, I want to bring back someone obscure. Frobisher, maybe. No, I think I don't know. Someone obscure. I like Ace. I think Ace has got loads of potential as a returning companion, but she hasn't been done enough. I think Power of the Doctor was great, but I think could have utilised her a lot better. I think there's just too much going on in that story. With the bioregeneration stuff, every Doctor regenerating, I feel like knowing there's a version of every single Doctor undercuts the thematic meaning of each regeneration in a meta sense. Yeah, I think you're spot on with that, to be honest. I think it does undercut the meaning a little bit. And I do think it undercuts the meaning completely, and I think I completely get what you mean. I hope it isn't the case where every Doctor regenerated and bi-generated or whatever, but I don't think we'll see the effects of that, and I think whatever showrunner is next might not carry on with that. You always have to take these things with a pinch of salt, but I'm glad that Doctor Who is in this open space where a writer can write whatever they want for the show, and it works, and it's fine, you're allowed to go with it. Doctor Who fans hold on to this history and this lore so tightly. But the fact of the matter is, Doctor Who's never been, the continuity has always been broken, it never really works, it always contradicts itself, you know. When it started, regeneration wasn't a thing, then it was. There were Doctors before Hartnell, then there wasn't, and then there was again, and it's just, you can't keep things in order. You've got Big Finish, you've got comics, you've got books, you've got show, you've got all your dramas, etc, etc, etc. You've got all these things which contradict with each other. You know, Mary Shelley was in a Paul McGann story, so she can't appear in the TV show because that would break. But it doesn't matter. Who gives a shit, right? It's a writer writing something that they want to write in the way they want to write it, without the restrictions of 60 years of the show's history. And I think that's good. And I think Russell doing this is absolutely fine, because if you don't want to see any more of it, you don't have to. It probably won't be a big plot point. It's not going to be like The Timeless Child, where things start cropping up and affecting. It will probably literally just be a thing where just giving David Tennant a different send-off than just regenerating again. So, yeah. No, I'm game for that. Some people didn't like that it was just catch at the end, but I like how the first game we played was a mental puzzle game, the second game was a game of chance, and third was a physical game. Yeah, I thought it was very well thought out, and it is perfect for the Toymaker as a character, I think. Genuinely like genius. I love the character, I love the idea, I love the aesthetic of it. I think Neil Patrick Harris absolutely killed it. Every part of that was brilliant for me. I love it. Love it. What do you think of the spice it up scene? I think that was the best scene in Doctor Who for a few years. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And I have to say, I didn't even know the song when it came on. I felt really bad. I was like, I recognise it, but I couldn't name it. I love it. You know, Doctor Who fans have a little tradition of throwing around the word camp willy-nilly, but that was camp, and it was beautifully camp. Spice up your life, yeah. The genuine shock I've had from Doctor Who was a Spyfall All-Master reveal. I prefer that they go back to the Chibnall era secrecy. But the All-Master, Sacha Dhawan being the Master was also leaked. That was leaked. I remember that. I remember watching the episode. Thing is, it wasn't as bad because Sacha Dhawan's a great performer and you couldn't tell that it was supposed to be the Master until the last scene. So you were just like, oh, he was just cast as another random guy. But there was a leak very early on that the Sacha Dhawan was going to be the Master. As soon as I saw that floating house, I was like, he's the fucking Master. But yeah, no, it's a good point. I don't want to go back to... I think there's a balance between Chibnall level secrecy, though. I think Chibnall's secrecy was excellent to an extent because you didn't find out anything. But then when the episodes came around, the quality wasn't as good as I would, you'd want sometimes. I don't want to just hide everything and then not have anything. It's not even... And I enjoyed the era, but I also think it's the promotion. I think Doctor Who as an entity now is so much bigger than it was a couple of years ago because the promotion, like Disney, the deals that are being done, the promotions that are being put in place. The only thing I think that's missing is merchandise. Character options have been shocking this year, I think, but I don't know the ins and outs of it, and I don't want to get like a thread posted about me on Twitter, so I'm not going to go into it. But I think they could have done better this year. I think it's a shame we haven't got a Shooty figure. I think it's a shame there's no Shooty Sonic Screwdriver announcement. I think the fact that they've not brought out anything new over the actual anniversary period or leading up to Christmas is just baffling to me. I can't help but think there's something going on there. So, yeah, shoot me if I'm wrong. I gambled with God and made him a Jack in the Box is one of the most casually OP things anyone has ever said. This story tapped into the Toymaker's ability in a way that the original story couldn't. And also the line where he's like, when he kills the Doctor and he's like, I play, by your own rules. I played the first game with the last Doctor. I played this game with this Doctor. By your own rules, I decree that I will play the third game with the next Doctor. I think it's a great... I mean, that's not exactly the line, but it was a gorgeous performance, and I was like, oh my god, that goes so hard. He's the Goblin King, yes, the Goblin King. He's not a myth, he's an actual thing. He's the king, he's the king, he's the king, he's the Goblin King. I can't remember the way it goes, but yes. Unrich Master, the Toymaker sealed. I'm hoping Sacha Dhawan. Makes sense, because he was on the verge of death, it made sense. Or Missy, maybe. Chitty is so amazing off the bat. I agree. He's just incredible. Like, just so much energy straight away. Can't lie, I do not know why people are getting so annoyed about 15 spawning another TARDIS. Even he was only able to do it because he won a prize from winning the game as well. But also, like, it doesn't matter. It's a TARDIS, there was a TARDIS on Earth for a year that, like, came home from Gallifrey at the end of Series 12. Clara's still out there in her own TARDIS. It's just a little thing that it's never gonna come back or anything. Okay, fine, George. I've subscribed to Blindwave. Are you happy now? Yes, very happy. Blindwave are great. My favourite Doctor Who reactors. When I started watching them years ago, this is one of the only content creators I've subscribed to with like Patreon. I just love their reactions because they go into everything blind and started watching Doctor Who for the first time a couple of years ago. So seeing them react to stuff like Journey's End, Stolen Earth, End of Time, 11th Hour, like that was so exciting, honestly. I remember Blindwave reacting to the Waters of Mars, that was about 6 years ago. That was 6 years ago? Fucking hell, was it actually? That's mad. I actually wasn't sure if Wilf was going to be in the episode when I was excited when I saw him. Oh, that's nice. My Susan's never come back. Yeah, I'm surprised, of all people, Susan's never came back, considering Caroline Ford is there and presumably down to do it. I just think it's a story that no one's wanted to approach, but I think that's interesting. Bioregeneration is worth it, because it's the only way you can ever give a Doctor a happy ending without ending the show. It's interesting. It's a good way of thinking about it. There's definitely different ways of interpreting it. I quite like that this version of the Doctor can just chill and doesn't have to think about going off into the universe because he knows there is a version of him that is, and is happy with that. It's basically just instead of going to the Guardians of the Edge thing, he just is here, and I think that's cool. Never seen a Spice Girls song in my life, but I love that scene and have the song stuck in my head. Absolutely same here. I'm going to say I don't know the song before, at least I can remember. You can tell how behind I am because I'm like catching up with the chat now. Russell had to do the mystery hand master rescue. It's sort of like a reference to the end of Flash Gordon, and I think it works quite well because you've got this sort of. I don't think it's anything serious to be set up if the Master's not going to come back anytime soon, which I hope they're not. But you've got this sort of thing where it's like kind of referencing what they did in Series 3, and it works quite well, and it's kind of funny, and that's all you need, really. The way Spice Up Your Life was so gloriously camp right up until Kate Stewart was flung violently into that wall, and you're like, oh shit, just enhanced how dangerous the Toymaker is. I loved it because it felt intimidating, because no matter what anyone did, they couldn't stop him, and I thought that was a really cool example of that. Like, no one could stop him from doing a dance. It's not like the Master just pacing about, and someone could they're all just standing there, but someone could easily knock him out. They were all trying to kill the Toymaker, and physically couldn't, because he wouldn't let them, and that's amazing. There's no actual place to get 14 Sonic? It's not meant to be £40 on resale places on eBay. That's mad. Oh yeah, we're not even going to go into the whole thing with character. I will start ranting. Again, I love character options for the stuff that they've made over the years, but I can't help but feel there's a really strange disconnect in recent years. Maybe it's to do with budget, but if they're really struggling with budget that much, I think Doctor Who need to find another licensee to do figures, because Doctor Who is such a big brand and will do so well with figure sales. Christ, look how we reacted to a fucking Goblin song coming out. Like, people will do this. People will sell this shit out. Characters know that these things will sell out. They do earn. So if they're not earning money from these Doctor Who toys, God knows, what's going on, because they refuse to do a Fugitive Doctor. They refuse to do a Dewan Master. By the time they end up making those figures, the demand will have just died and no one will want them anymore, bar collectors, and then they'll complain that they weren't popular enough, and it's like, well, because you didn't release it when they were actually in the fucking series. And then like Shuzi Gatwa, when is he getting a Doctor figure? The thing with, you sort of heard, I think at the time, very soon after Power of the Doctor came out, we had a set released with David Tennant's 14th Doctor and the 13th Doctor in Power of the Doctor, and it was also said that the BBC helped fund that. And like they pushed for that to happen. I'm sort of thinking, why wasn't the same done for Ncuti Gatwa? Why haven't we got a 15th Doctor figure? Maybe we'll get one after Christmas, but it seems mental to me that the first episode is going to be a Christmas special, and you could have released a toy before Christmas and you chose not to. That's insane to me. And then again, yeah, like as soon as the Sonic Screwdriver for Tennant was announced, there was a toy announced like the next day or something, and it was released and it was great. But then Shooties has been announced at the weekend. There's been loads of fantastic pictures of it. Not a word from character. I'm baffled. You'd have thought they'd have a heads up on that. They filmed this special like a year, 2 years ago even. Feels like. Year and a half maybe. It's just mad to me. It's just mad. Shooties on Graham Norton's show on Friday. We might get a new clip or trailer. Oh, that's cool. Donna needs to get a figure as well. Donna's only got the one from Planet of the U and it's shit. I told the big coat. She never wears that. They need to either have the Stolen Earth look or I think the look from the specials, because she wears the same outfit. The green like coat and the sort of stripy top. I think that'd be perfect. Kind of annoying me that Ncuti took the copy of the TARDIS, not the original. I feel like it leaves too much room for people to say Ncuti's not the real Doctor. Although, yes, that's very true. Russell has stated that in the commentary that there is a story in Season 1 coming up which will basically prove that Ncuti's TARDIS is the original TARDIS. So that's... I don't know what that's going to be. Hopefully some sort of cool throwback to an old episode or something inside the TARDIS would be kind of sick. Either way, very, very exciting to work out how there's going to be concrete proof in the form of an episode. That's really cool. Must have been hard for Tennant to look so serious while they were filming the Spice Up Your Life scene. Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure why people are upset about multiple Doctors being out there at once. The Doctor's a time traveller, they're all out there somewhere. That's true, but I think it's because it's not one solid person as a timeline, it's sort of like multiple people. So even though that is true, it's sort of like, it's like alternate versions, you know what I mean? It's like an older version of like the Fourth Doctor knocking about who didn't die at Legopolis. And it sort of raises questions. It's like, okay, so if the Ninth Doctor bi-regenerated into David Tennant, then Tennant would have gone off by himself and Rose would have stayed with the Ninth Doctor, if you think about it like that. That's probably what would have happened. Give me a standard edition 14th Doctor Sonic for under £30 and I'll buy it. It's insane that it costs that much, isn't it? I don't understand what's going on, really. They released Jodie's figure after her first series aired. Is that true? Shit. I don't remember that. I remember getting it, but I think you're right, because it was quite a late figure. Or was it? I don't know, I can't remember it coming out earlier than that. Did I not do a review of it? This is when we're getting really into the deep cuts now, because I'm actually having to look to see if I did a review of it. I'm sure I would have done back then, especially that era. th Doctor. Figure revealed November 2018. But is that leaked or is that actually? They were leaked photos. Coming soon. And that was in November 2018, so that's when the series was actually coming out. That is mad. That is actually mad. When was the review? Did I do a review? Action figure review! And that was when? Oh god. December 2018. So yeah, you're right, after her entire first series had aired. Which I guess is the right time to do it, maybe. But like, also maybe not. It's a bit of a strange one, isn't it? I kind of would have preferred to have a figure like out the get-go. And obviously, like, Jodie regenerated into Tennant. He hadn't even had his first story as the 14th Doctor, and there was already a figure. And a pretty good figure at that. Let me get it, because I'm talking about it. It's the one figure set I actually still have with me in this house. The rest of them I've kind of left either at my family home or wherever, but I love this set. I think it's great, and I'd love them to release more stuff like this. But honestly, I've always been an advocate for character. I've always been like, character are great at what they do. I love their figures, I love the style of their figures. But honestly, at this point, like, if you're not going to release new figures when the series is like at its peak at the moment, obviously there's not as much of a demand for it, but like, people will buy it. These things sell out. Look at the Sonic Screwdriver, for Christ's sake. Why are they not stocking that back up? I love the little Tennant figure. I love the little 14th Doctor figure. I think it looks great. I love it. I think it looks fab. But everyone, you know, it's sort of like we need a... there's so many different things you could do with this. You could take this, you could take the jacket off, and you could redo the arms and do the version without the coat. That cannot be that hard. Yet they won't fucking do it. You know? That's what baffles me. Donna, okay, a bit more difficult. Shooty, okay, it's a completely new mould. But with Tennant, they could at least do a variation of this for B&M, but there's been nothing, not even any fucking 4th Doctor figures, which is their favourite thing to do. There's been nothing recently. And I think it's really sad. Yeah, what we saying? That's good, I'm glad that's the case. Maybe the TARDIS comes alive again. We might see the fob watch from Flux somewhere, and the Doctor looks at it and turns to Millie and goes, "Don't touch that, neither of us want to know what's in there." I don't think they'll ever bring that up again. I genuinely don't think they will. I wanted to buy the exclusive one, but it was so expensive. The retail one is so bad, in my opinion. What's wrong with the retail version? Because I've got the I've got the exclusive version, the online one. And it's okay, but it is a bit tacky and naff. It's not like the arms sort of wobble a bit more than they should. but I guess it's close to the prop. But the funny thing is, I've seen the prop now in real life, and the prop didn't fucking look like this. It wasn't as shiny as this. It was very matte colour, which actually looks more like the standard release. So I don't really understand, honestly, what they were doing. Yeah, that's the thing. You might get an 8th Doctor show out of it with the bioregeneration, so I wouldn't knock it too much. I think if that happened and that was a spin-off, everyone would love the bioregeneration idea, because everyone wants to see Paul McGann back. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, but they could very easily do a regeneration set for Shooty's first figure. They could do 2-in-1 like they've done with this. Simple regeneration set. Jodie's is a great one as well. It's a great Jodie figure. Even though she was only wearing that for like a minute in the episode, they got their use out of it, you know? And if they ever, you know, pull their finger out and do a Sacha Dhawan figure, they can very easily use the same costume and do a variation there. For Sacha, just obviously make some slight adjustments so he hasn't got like a woman's body. I hate the idea of every Doctor Who doing. Yeah, I just read that bit. I really hope we get a massive Marvel Endgame battle in Russell T Davies 2, to be fair. I don't know if we want that. I don't know if I want that. I want something big and cataclysmic kind of thing. I want like a confrontation that's been building, you know what I mean? You know, like when Thanos appeared in like Avengers Endgame and Infinity War. That appearance of someone who's been teased, that's what I want. If you're going to tease someone, like they're bigging up the one who waits, I think we should be made to wait for the one who waits. I don't want to see him at the end of the first season, I want to see him at the end of the second or third season, where we've had a little bit of time to get all the hints and all the things out there, which I think that's very exciting. All I know is the standard version doesn't have the hidden feature with the other colour options. But that's fine, because the other colour options didn't fucking happen in the show. This is what I was also saying on Twitter. There's this weird thing. Oh Christ, how do you do it again? Okay. You can press the button in the secret compartment and it has different colours. Oh look, a red mode. But there was never a red mode in the fucking TV version. There was never a green mode, there was never a yellow mode. They hid all the different sound effects and colours of all the other Doctors in there. They fucking knew what they were doing. I hate it. I fucking hate it. Why did they bother doing that? They wasted time and money doing that when it wasn't even in the fucking show. They were just doing it for a laugh. I mean, it's cool, don't get me wrong, it's a cool little feature. If you want to have like an alternate screwdriver, sure, sick. But it doesn't really reflect what's on screen. Hi George, only just joined. Has anyone mentioned the possibility of Missy reference, the possible Missy reference when the Toymaker says he had cut the hair from Stucky from a beautiful lady? Should never miss anything again. I don't know if it's a Missy reference. I think that could literally be like any woman, really. But I guess it's possible. So some people say the Toymaker implies he caused a timeless child retcon, which I think is hilarious. But I'm not sure how that would even work. Yeah, it's because he says he made a jigsaw out of the Doctor's life. Interesting. I mean, maybe. You never know these things. I mean, it could be the case. Give me an action figure of the moment where Ncuti Gatwa and David Tennant were joined at the crotch. I'm also a perf. That's funny. That would be a fucking strange figure. Someone's going to make the custom figure of the bioregeneration, though, for sure. Question is, the Master was in the Doctor's body in Power of the Doctor, and then he regenerated into her body when returning. My theory is the Master's future self is rolling around. Interesting. I don't really know. I'm trying to remember back to Power of the Doctor, because my memory's a bit foggy on exactly what happens with the regenerations there. I hope we don't get that. I prefer when Doctor Who isn't like Marvel, and I'm worried it will try to be like it. I don't think they will. I don't think they can do a big battle thing, because the Doctor isn't about fighting, you know, it is about peace, you know, he's an optimist. They, optimist. Always has been, always will be, and would rather talk their way out of something than use a gun. I think that's important. We can't have big... Battles are cool, yeah, don't get me wrong. And there definitely will be something big scale. There has to be. But not too big scale that you lose what's going on. That's what happened with Flux. It was too big scale and everything was just CGI shots that I was like, okay, like, but what's the actual physical implications of this? What's actually physically happening? Like, who is the Doctor confronting about this? No one. Yeah, it's like, hello George, I finally caught one of your live streams. It's Alex in the back archive. You, my friend, are an absolute icon. I'm trying to, like, now that you've actually joined and said that, it's a good opportunity to sort of give you a proper shout out. This guy is one of the best people in this community, like, honestly. The amount of time and effort and work they put into this. So if you don't know what the Black Archive is, it's a website, which I'll link in the chat. Use it. It's fucking sick. And they basically post very, very, very high resolution photos of Doctor Who, and they have such an incredible backlog. And they're also dropping stills sometimes before the official accounts do, which is insane. I don't know how they've done that, but it's sick. So again, like, a huge credit. I would not have been able to make this thumbnail without that website. I would not have been able to make any thumbnail probably from the last 5 years of my YouTube channel without that fantastic, fantastic website. So huge, huge shout out to the Black Archive and Alex, who is behind it. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, mate. Appreciate it. You're a fucking legend. And yeah, it's just incredible. I just think it's one of those things that you just sort of use and you just sort of forget that someone's actually running it and updating it and doing stuff with it. You're like, oh shit, yeah, that's a thing. Because the Toymaker undone all the Master's work destroying Gallifrey. What if the Master gets an old face back like the Doctor did? So has 15 always been inside of 14? It's funny to see a black person come out of... I don't know what you're saying there, but I'm just not going to read that out just in case. I don't really know. I don't know. George, this is the Doctor's 6th regeneration after receiving a new regeneration cycle from the Time Lords during the time of the Doctor. I didn't even think about that. That's probably true as well. But is that as strict as you'd say? Because you're including the Sacha Dhawan and Jodie ones and part of the Doctor, and I don't know if I'd include that. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but I don't know. But yeah, check out the Black Archive website if you haven't already. Fucking incredible. Genuinely sick. Yeah, love it. It's just like a proper archive of stuff. I know that the BBC are going to try and do their own like archive of high def images, but it's really cool to see ones that are just here and like super high res and really, really well organized in a very like, yeah. Cool. Very cool. Very, very cool. Well, very shortly, everyone, we'll be heading over to Twitch. Which is what we usually do on Tuesdays. If you're new here, I'm going to drop a little link down below for you to join, if you would like, the Discord server that we set up for these live streams. So feel free to use the link in chat. Pop over to Discord, join the server, and you'll get updated and notified whenever we go live, either on Twitch or YouTube. I'll be here next Tuesday on YouTube. We'll be doing another live stream next Tuesday, but I think it will be the last one of the year, I believe. As much as that breaks my heart to say, next week will be my last live stream on YouTube of the year. Simply because I'm going home for Christmas and I'm not going to have any of my computer stuff with me. I'm not going to have any of that stuff. And I kind of want a break. But I'll be very active on Twitter. I'll try and be active on Discord as well, if you're going to be on there. But I'm very excited for the Christmas special. And we'll talk about that a little bit more next time. I've got a fun Doctor Who thing I want to do next time. There is a website in which you have to name every episode of Doctor Who and like type it in like a certain time period. So I thought that'd be really fun to do next week on the live stream. Oh, thank you to the One Foxy for following me over on Twitch. That's getting ahead of yourself. I haven't even said anything about that yet, but thank you for the follow. Yeah, join the Discord server if you'd like, and yeah, you'll basically get notified. I don't want to do the Discord call again. I might do for a little bit at some point, who knows, but we'll see. Yeah, but basically that's what we're doing. We'll be back next Tuesday, but that'll probably be the last YouTube stream of the year. And as with every Tuesday, when we get to about 8 o'clock, we head over to twitch.tv/georgesheard. Link is in the description. Link is in the description to the Twitch stream. We'll be going there live as soon as this live stream ends, so do stick around if you've got any more Doctor Who questions or things to ask. Please do head over to Twitch there now. Drop me a follow if you haven't already. We'll be going live as soon as this live stream ends, so stay tuned. We'll be going live over there. And we're going to be playing GTA Vice City, as we were last week, which will be very fun. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. We'll be here next week, same time, with a bit of a Who Bulletin Christmas special, if you will. So thank you all so much for watching. Yeah, and we'll see you over on Twitch playing GTA Vice City, which was very fun last week, but also very infuriating. So if you want to see me rage at a video game, come and join in. See you all very